Welcome to Braves Talk, brought to you by the Alumni Relations Office at Bradley University. I'm Leah Mitchell, Associate Director of Alumni Relations. Tonight, we're thrilled to present the Turner School of Entrepreneurship and Innovation's Distinguished Entrepreneur Speaker Series. Our guest is a renowned social entrepreneur, Shawn Seipler, founder and CEO of Clean the World Global. We hope you enjoyed tonight's event and the entire Braves Talk series. Thank you for joining us. And let's welcome Shawn Seipler as he shares his inspiring journey with us.
Out there paying attention, doing something. It's so lovely to see so many faces in the room, so very full. If I don't know you, my name is Dr. Mary Conway Datuon, and I am the Academic and Executive Director of the Turner School of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And I want to welcome you here in the room, but also, as you know, right, the school is all about innovation and trying things and experimenting, and we are doing that very thing today. Because for the first time, we are live streaming with a Bradley alumni event. So not only do we have all of you here in the room, but we're also talking to many of our alumni from across the world. And I want to call out a special thank you because some of our advisory council board members are also online for us today. So I'm very happy to have you online as well. Of course, like a good entrepreneur and a good marketer, I have to take just a quick moment to do a commercial. Because just before today, how many of you have heard of the Turner School of Entrepreneurship and Innovation? How many of you? Few of you? All right. Oh my gosh, the hands are getting better, right? I've been here a year and a half since I graduated from Bradley, just a few years ago. And each time we're here, I see more hands in the audience. So that's really exciting. You see there, our mission, right, is to help you as students connect with the community. And we have some of our key community partners here. So Chris Setti from the Economic Development Council, and who is that I see from our Small Business Development Center as well, and from Peoria Next, his new position there. So I want to say thank you also for coming, Chris. And our mantra, which is most important for our students, is the Turner School of Entrepreneurship and Innovation is a place where you can dream, design, and develop your ideas. So we want to create a very open environment. We do that by focusing on innovation, of course, as a school, to be innovative, to be inclusive, and to be interdisciplinary. So regardless of your major, there's a place for you at the Turner School of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. You can meet us in a curricular space, in a co-curricular space, or, wow, that moved. I didn't touch it. Did I touch it? Or a curricular, co-curricular, or our community connections space. So that's why I wanted to call out. Last that I wanted to make a call out for is none of this would be possible without the generous and philanthropic mindset that the Bob and Carolyn Turner have. So the Turner School is named after Bob and Carolyn Turner. Bob is an alum of Bradley as well, who has been very generous to us to enable these activities, including this 2024 Entrepreneur of the Year award. And so I'm super happy, now I did click that forward, to give a couple of words about Shawn. You're not here to hear me, so I promise I will keep them very short. But this moment is really special because Shawn and I have known each other for almost 20 years. And it's a beautiful example of thinking about your network. And you may never know where it's going to take you, but just keep those contacts going. So Shawn and I met really just as he was starting his company that he's going to tell you all about today. And way back 2010, oh my gosh, yeah, that's, sorry, a little bit longer. Yeah, that's a long time. And we have visited his initial company in Orlando, his second, manufacturing location, his second manufacturing location, his Hong Kong location. I think some of our students and faculty have visited your London location. So the relationship goes back deeply. We also have a case that we've written on Clean the World and on some of Shawn's employees and the importance of pivoting during difficult entrepreneurial times. During those years, I've also really witnessed not only the growth of the business, but perhaps equally important, if not more important, is Shawn's mindset of entrepreneurship and his willingness to pay forward. So some of the students have already had a moment to chat with him. And he really is the kind of person who believes in paying forward, in entrepreneurial education, in giving back. We've worked together with startup firms, giving those coaching and counseling sessions and that. So Shawn really is the appropriate person for our 2024 Distinguished Entrepreneur of the Year. I also want to point out that Shawn is our first social entrepreneur to receive this award. So we've been giving this award for 11 years. This is our 11th year, but it is our first award in social entrepreneurship. So that's very near and dear to my heart because I believe it celebrates more than just thinking about entrepreneurship as money, but thinking about entrepreneurship as a way to make change in the world. And you'll hear Shawn talk about some of the alignment with the UN SDGs that he works with. So I'm going to put the mic down for a second. I'm going to ask Shawn to come up, and I'm going to give him a little memento for this annual award that we have. And I'm going to ask you to please welcome him with your applause to the stage. Shawn?
Thank you.
Shine very bright on your Bradley
Yes.
red.
2010 we met. We were both 12 years old.
So
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll take it at the table.
Very
for you.
appreciative. Thank you so much. I
Thank
do
you.
appreciate you.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
Hit your reel.
The reel, and then we'll go, yeah?
And then turn it over to Shawn.
All right, very good.
Shawn Seipler is a visionary leader, mentor, teacher, social entrepreneur, and impact investor. He has dedicated his life to building companies, products, and services that create meaningful social and environmental impact. Shawn's accomplishments have always been driven by a commitment to preserving our planet and improving lives, with a clear purpose to make the world a better place. Ladies and gentlemen, Shawn Seipler.
All right, thank you. So I live in Central Florida, so I flew up from Florida, and this is winter out here right now. So I do appreciate all the strength and might that you guys have to get through and carry on through the next many months of the weather that you'll go through. If you ever want 78 degrees and sunny and maybe to go on a boat, come on down and visit us, because that's what we're doing for the next few months. But in all seriousness, I did live in North Chicago for a few years and went to school in South Wisconsin. So very familiar. And I am grateful and honored to be here. It's my favorite times to be in front of students, young people. I've had the privilege of lecturing at colleges across the globe. I've lectured at Harvard. I've lectured in colleges in China and Europe and across the U.S., all on social entrepreneurship. I hope that I can be just a bit of inspiration for you tonight, because if there's anything that you get from me, the most important thing that you've got to get from me tonight is that the world's a tough place. There are a lot of things that need to get fixed. And government is not going to fix those things for us, okay? Raise your hand if you think that, okay? Government's not going to fix. More hands should have gone up. I'm telling you, government's not going to fix our problems, okay? And nonprofits and NGOs, they don't have necessarily the capital that's necessary to solve those problems, okay? What is needed is a private sector. What is needed is capitalism. And what mostly is needed is young, smart minds, you who want to be entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs that try to make the world a better place, to solve the world's ills, and to drive into sustainability and social impact in all of those things. That's what's going to change the world. It can be done. We can improve it, and it will be up to you. And so I'm here mostly because of you, and because I want to just, if there's any inspiration I can give you, if there's any moments I can spend with you, if you can glean anything out of today, then it's going to be, my job will be done. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Clean the World and how we started. So 16 years ago, I was a frequent traveler, and I stayed in a hotel room 4 nights a week. I was running a global sales team for a technology company. That technology company was bought by Google for $175 million a few years after I started Clean the World. It's actually the basis of Google Shopping. So I sold that technology to major Fortune 100 consumer electronic computing manufacturers, retailers across the United States. And my two biggest customers were Best Buy and Target. So as I was born in South Florida, I have thin Florida blood that I've already told you about. When I spend 40 nights a year in Minneapolis, which I had to do at that time, it was a struggle for me to stay alive. I had to stay in my hotel room. I had to bundle up with blankets, and typically I had to drink a cocktail or two to stay alive. That was how I made it through. And one of those nights, I've always been sort of an entrepreneur. I wanted to do something on my own. I didn't know what that was. I've spoken to some students here today, and I've gotten that from some of you. You know, what do? I don't know what to do. I want to do something. Well, I was just open to doing something, and I was thinking about sustainability and green energy, and just thinking about, as an entrepreneur, something that I would do in that realm. And so I was looking for things of waste. And so at this hotel room in Minneapolis one night, after having a couple cocktails, I called the front desk and I asked what happened to the little bar of soap and little bottle of shampoo when I was done using it. And they chuckled. They told me to have another cocktail. And I said, okay, send another cocktail up. But what happens to the soap and shampoo when I'm done using it? And they said, we throw it all away. And so I kind of went to my laptop and I started Googling, and I figured out that at that time there were 4.6 million hotel rooms in the United States. There was about a 60% occupancy. There was a 1.5 day stay on it by typical guest. And so I kind of did all that math, and I figured out that if all hotels were throwing their soap away, we were throwing away 1 million bars of soap every day out of hotels across the US, and several million bars of soap every day out of hotels across the globe. And so I thought that was an interesting thing of waste that I wanted to go figure out what to do with. So over the next days and weeks, I kind of researched, could I recycle soap? And I found very simple ways to do it, where I could melt it down and reform it into a new bar called rebatching. So I started thinking about, what would I do with recycled soap? And I kind of did some, little case studies amongst my friends. I said, hey, would you buy recycled soap, like at Whole Foods? And they said, no. And I said, well, maybe, could I put it into another product? What could I do? And so during that trek, I came across a study, and then a second study, and a third study. And I can remember so clearly sitting on my bed in East Orlando, and I've got I got a wife, 4 children. I've got 2 homes. I've got the biggest 750 on the block. I'm at a company that Google's about to buy in just a couple of years, tens of thousands of stock options. And I'm sitting there and I have all these studies in front of me, and they very clearly tell me this, that back then in 2009, there were 9,000 children under the age of 5 that were dying every single day to pneumonia and diarrheal disease. And number 1 and number 2 killers of children worldwide. And all these studies showed that if I just gave them soap and taught them how and when to wash their hands, that we could cut those deaths in half. And so at that very moment, I had what was described to me by a professor at Florida State, a moment of obligation. And I remember just so clearly thinking, there's 1 million bars of soap being thrown away every day. There's 9,000 children dying every day. And I've just got to figure out how to get that soap into the hands of those 9,000 children. And so that was the moment that I said, I'm doing something about this. And so I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I said, I'm going to go do something. So this is in 2009, by the way, when the economy and the global financial was absolutely, just tanking. And so I'm half German, half Puerto Rican. So I called my German family members. I said, I got this great idea. I'm going to collect used soap from hotels. I'm going to recycle it. I'm going to send it to people around the world. And my German family members have a little more resources in the family. They said, don't quit your day job, Shawn. That's about the silliest thing we've ever heard. So I switched up my pitch a little bit. I called my Puerto Rican family members and I said, mira, listen to mi familia, okay? We're going to get the soap from hotels. We're going to recycle it. We're going to send it to children and families all around the world. And my Puerto Rican family members said, yes, let's do it. And so there we were in 2009, myself, my Puerto Rican family members in a single car garage in downtown Orlando. This is us. We're sitting on upside down pickle buckets with potato peelers. We're collecting soap from hotels across Central Florida. We're scraping the outside of those bars of soap with potato peelers. You can kind of see in the back of the image, there's a meat grinder. We would grind all the soap into a noodle. We had 4 Kenmore cookers. Got those cookers on sale at Sears for $59.99. They were regularly priced $79.99. So we saved $80 in that cooking station over there. And we would cook it for 2 hours into a paste. And after 2 hours, we cook all the impurities out. We made these big wood soap molds. We put wax paper down. We put the paste on, more wax paper, top it, clamp it. It would harden overnight. The next day, we'd cut out with wire cutters. We cut all the soap out. We put it on those racks to the right. The fan would blow it dry for another 24 hours. About every 30 minutes, the power would cut in the house. And the problem there is that my Puerto Rican workforce needed the salsa and the merengue playing. So if the music stopped, the work stopped. So I had to figure out how many cookers I had on with the meat grinder, with the music going, so that we could keep it going. And that's how we started 15 years ago in a garage. By the way, true story. The first time that the police came by the garage, they wanted to see what all of us Puerto Ricans were cooking. And it happened to be actually when Breaking Bad was topping the charts. And so I literally gave a police officer a tour of our facility, and it smelled like soap and it looked like soap. And even though in Central Florida, Puerto Ricans cooking something in a garage could be something different, that wasn't us. We were actually cooking soap to save lives. And so 15 years later, this is what we've done. We have distributed today we're out of a single car garage and we're into a 2-car garage. Just kidding. We have recycling centers in Las Vegas, Montreal, Punta Cana, Amsterdam, Hong Kong. We have offices in Singapore, London. We're all over the globe with this product. And what we've done as social entrepreneurs is we did not just stop with this global recycling company where we have 10,000 hotels that take their soap and their plastic, send it to us in our recycling centers where we recycle it. The soap we send to children, families, mothers around the world. The plastic we recycle into new products. But in addition to that, we created new impact products. We found new ways to get companies to buy from us products to make the world a better place. Now, to be clear, hotels buy this program from us. They pay somewhere between 80 cents to $1 per room per month. So a 300-room hotel pays about $300 a month. A 200-room hotel pays about $200 a month. A 1,000-room hotel pays about $1,000 a month. And we have that renewing annuity every month. They get unlimited shipping. So we ship all those boxes into our facilities. We recycle all the product. We send empty boxes back out to the properties. We have a nice little app where the properties can come on when their boxes are filled and they can request to get a new box and get a shipping label to send their box in. The most important thing we do is we track all of the landfill diversion, all the carbon offset, all the number of bars of soap that we've distributed for those properties, all the impact data, the UN SDGs that they are impacting. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment. And that's what we give back to them. And that's what they pay for, because they have an obligation to their guests. They have an obligation to their shareholders. They have an obligation to their employees and to their stakeholders to make the world a better place, to live in a more sustainable world, to provide impact. So they pay us to make that impact happen. And then we provide them all the data so they can tell everybody about it. And we give them all the social media content they need. And we give them all the images. And we give them all the storytelling so they can put it on a website. And they can put it in their citizenship reports and they can tell the world about it. Simple. Then we've created other products. Matter of fact, you guys participated in, many of you here, in a hygiene kit build. And that product was actually one that you purchased. And that gave you the ability to make an assembly line happen, and you build hygiene kits. We'll talk more about that. And we've done our Fresh Start Wash and Wellness mobile hygiene units. We'll talk about that as well. The idea for us was to create new products that impacted the world that have two primary things, measurements. One, financial. It's got to make financial sense so that we can continue to hire the best and the brightest. The people that work for me around the world are the best and the brightest. They come from major firms. They have got master's degrees. They've got 20, 30 years of experience. They are all smarter than me. And that's intentional. So we create value to bring on the best and the brightest, and then we create impact. We make the world a better place. And we are driven by those two sets of metrics and of philosophies and principles whenever we make our products. And so we are a global hybrid. So we are both a B Corp for-profit entity, where these products are derived from, and we are also a global NGO, the WASH Foundation. So whereas I own the for-profit entities, and I am the CEO of that entity, I am the chair of the board for the nonprofit. And the global nonprofit, the WASH Foundation, engages in activities related to water, sanitation, hygiene. We do menstrual health in areas in Uganda and Dominican Republic. We do wash in schools and soap in schools. We give showers to the homeless across the U.S. We've created all these incredible programs that donors and sponsors can also get behind, but that also effectuate the impact that we drive from the products that we make on the for-profit side. Okay? So what has happened in 15 years? Remember, in a garage, before that, in a hotel room, having a cocktail, thinking about what happened to my soap. Here's what's happened 15 years later. We've distributed 87 million free bars of soap to children, families, mothers in 127 countries across the globe. We've given 8.7 billion hand washes. We've given 80,000 showers to the homeless across the United States. We've served almost 5 million refugees in that amount of time. We've given almost 6 million hygiene kits to those in need. From a sustainability perspective, we've diverted over 18 million pounds of soap that we've collected, 25 million pounds when you add the soap and plastic together, 28 million pounds. We've saved thousands, hundreds of thousands of gallons of water. We've had carbon offset. We've had landfill diversion, all of that impact. And not only have we done that and been able to describe that to you globally, but we take all that data and we cut that up for every single one of our clients. So the Peoria Marriott that I'm staying at today, that is one of our hotel partners. Every day they can log into their app and see exactly how much landfill diversion, exactly how many refugees they've served, exactly how many hand washes they've handed out. They can get that data. They can share it with their guests. They can put it on social tonight. They can share with the world all the good work that they've done. So it's not just the product and the work that we've done, but it's how we're able to serve that up to every single one of our clients so that they're able to talk about it. And corporate Marriott does that, and corporate Hilton does that. And on the hygiene kit side, for example, Amazon's one of our largest clients. They're building hygiene kits and distributing them to people all around the world. They're able to talk to their employees and their guests about the incredible work that they're doing. So we've become a solution for big companies and little companies to make the world a better place. We have also identified the UN SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, that every one of these companies has at some point signed up and said, I'm going to do X, Y, Z with respect to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. They all have those goals. And one thing that you'll know is that many of those companies, most of them, do not have any idea how they're going to accomplish a lot of those goals. A lot of those goals they've set that 2030 is the date that those things are going to effectuate, or they're going to have accomplished all their goals. And right now, they're in many of the things that they've set, they have no idea how to get there. They're looking for products and services and people to help them get there. There's an entire investment class that has set up investment funds that have allocated a certain amount of money, billions and billions of dollars, in the realm of ESG, environmental social governance. Okay, during this political season that we're out of, there was a lot of bad that was put on that. Okay, that doesn't change the fact that these investment houses have these dollars, billions that they have to invest within these realms, and they can't hand their money out unless they find something that fits that criteria. Okay, there's billions of dollars available for young, early startup social entrepreneurs who have great ideas that they just need the capital in order to make those ideas happen. Okay, so we've been blessed. We've had a ton of media all over the world. You saw a little bit of that. You saw me on Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. Anybody watch Dirty Jobs? Anybody watch that show? Pretty cool. First time you ever talked to Mike Rowe is when he actually comes up and meets you. The very first time that I had any interaction with him was when he first walked up in order to start doing our episode. Very cool, very down to earth person. I was also on the Kelly Clarkson show, and I was on with Derek Huff, who I taught a few dance moves to, and Jay Hernandez, who is Magnum PI, who I gave a few acting lessons to. And I'm backstage in LA at the studios there at Kelly Clarkson. And I went there with Nancy Alvarez. So from Central Florida, you know, Nancy Alvarez has been a news anchor for 30 years, and she does a lot of social impact. She's part of NBC, and she was the one that kind of nominated our company, nominated me to go on the Kelly Clarkson show. So I'm backstage with Nancy Alvarez, and she's asking me about mission trips. And we take people to Honduras and Guatemala and Dominican Republic, and we go to places where we do soap distribution. And part of that soap distribution, we usually do a skit, and we have like super jabón, super soap, super agua, super water. They're the superheroes, and the Hattermanes come out, the germs come out, so the superheroes have to go kill the germs. And you know, we do some fun skits, and we have some songs that we make up as well, and that's what we do in order to educate the children, educate the mothers, and just have a great time on these little mission trips. So I'm explaining that to Nancy Alvarez, and she asked me to sing one of the songs for her. And so I sang the song. It's "Wash Your Hands to La Bamba" in Spanish. You know, not a good singer at all, but I sang it for her. So cool. Well, we get out with Kelly Clarkson now, okay? And we're in the studio, and there's 12 cameras, and there's her band, and it's like we were coming out of COVID. So you had a studio audience, plus you had all these COVID screens of people back there. And I come out, and there's Derek Huff and Jay Hernandez. And although you're on this show and you're supposed to be natural, they actually give you a script. So you actually know what questions they're going to ask and what you're going to, generally what you're going to say, because they have it timed and all this stuff. So you have a script, right? So we meet Kelly, we start talking, the cameras are rolling. And Nancy says, "Hey, Kelly, I don't mean to go off script, but Shawn has a song he wants to sing for you." I'm like, what did she just say? Just cameras, audience, the band's over there, Kelly, "Shawn, let's sing your song." Para lavar los manos. Para lavar los manos se necesita un poco de agua y jabón, y jabón, y jabón. Pararara. So I do that, okay? That was good, all right? Give me all right. So you have no idea how much guts it takes to stand up here and not be able to sing and sing, okay? So I busted out. And Kelly goes, "You got great tone." And I go, "You're damn straight, I got great tone." "Absolutely, Kelly, I've been trying to tell people that all my life, that I got great tone." "Absolutely." So now I've just sang for Kelly Clarkson. The rest of the show, I don't even know what happened. All I know is I sang for Kelly Clarkson, and she said I got great tone. So a few months later, we're having the watch party, and we got this big event going on, and local West 2 News is there all day at our facility, and Nancy Alvarez is there, and Stuart Moore's there, and it's a big deal. They're running it all day on Channel 2. It's a big deal. But all I'm telling people about leading up to this is I sang for Kelly Clarkson. Like, I sang, and she thought I was good. So this could be the break in my career. I love doing social entrepreneurship, don't get me wrong, but if Kelly wants me singing with Kelly Clarkson, I may be singing with Kelly Clarkson. So I'm letting everybody know it's a big deal. We're getting ready. The show comes on, and I'm just waiting for my big moment. I'm just waiting for it. And they cut it out of the show. Nothing. Can you believe it? Anyway, I just wanted you guys to know that. It was awesome. It was fun, though. So I've had a ton of media. It's been a ton of fun. The good news is, right, when you're out there and you're doing something impactful, people want to tell the story about it. So we've been very blessed. Been on CBS Evening News twice, ABC Nightly News. We've been all over the place. So just real quick, I'm going to just give you kind of the educational piece around this, right? Again, we're a global hybrid. CTW Global, that's our for-profit B Corp. That's where we make all of our impact products. Our nonprofit is the Wash Foundation. Now, to have a hybrid organization, there's a lot of legalities that have to govern how those organizations work. And that's called safe harbor. And so if you decide you want to make an organization or an enterprise that has a for-profit, nonprofit, you have to go through certain checks called safe harbor checks. And those checks include contracts that have fair market value rates that are reviewed by independent valuators. You have to have a disinterested majority board members vote on contracts related, because we have a lot of intercompany transactions that occur as well. The main thing to understand is that you can have this hybrid organization where you get access to both investment capital and in bank debt capital, but also get donors and sponsors and grants. You just have to set it up and structure it in a particular way. This is just to give you an idea of our finances. This year, we're going to go over $25 million this year. So we started in a garage 15 years ago. And we are globally, we're with all of our international regions going to go over 25 million. And we actually have things that are of value. Our Clean the World brand, our CTW Events brand, those are brands and products that we could actually sell, that we could put into other products, other services. It's been really interesting to see how our CTW Events, the orange line, has actually become a bigger product than our soap and plastic recycling product across the globe. And again, that's all been dialing in on impact products that make the world a better place. So very briefly, I'm just going to go over the products. I know we want to get to some questions, but this is our soap and plastic recycling. We have over 10,000 hotels that operate it across the globe. You can kind of see what we do from a recycling process. So this is what that looks like. And so we have these centers set up again in Orlando, Vegas, Montreal, Punta Cana, Amsterdam, and Hong Kong. And now instead of using the scrapers, the potato peelers, and the meat grinders and the cookers, we actually have machines that are typically found in soap manufacturing plants that we've rearranged and we have set up in order to recycle, sterilize, recycle, and turn into brand new 3.5 ounce bars of soap. We're also, and we are very much turning into a plastic recycling company. You probably are staying in hotels now and seeing that they're going away from the single-use amenities and they're going to those large bottles. And we're recycling those large bottles and turning them into circular products. Those large bottles have plastic and metals and pumps and a lot of different things. So whereas 15 years ago, kind of our thing was soap saves lives. That's what we're about, recycling soap to save lives. We're now turning into a plastic recycler more and more. And an impact is being seen in a little different way. There's actually less bar soap. For the first time this year, we have taken in a much larger majority of plastic than we have bar soap, and there is less and less bar soap coming out of hotels. And this is, any business, even in the social entrepreneurial realm, you've got to be prepared to pivot. You've got to be prepared for market adjustments that happen. And that's also why you've been seeing our event business, the hygiene kits, the backpacks, that business we'll talk about in just a moment, why that has really been taken off and why I think that's going to be much more of our future. Here's our plastic recycling process. And you can kind of see the work that we do here and some of the concepts that we've had in terms of turning the plastic in. very challenging to deal with, and but also very unique in terms of what we do. Nobody else does that across the globe. Here are just some quick images of the facilities, the work. We have a plastic recycling center in Kansas City as well. That's where we ship all of our plastic to. You can kind of see the different facilities that we have across the globe. And again, I talked about this, and that is the portal, the app that our clients have to not just get their boxes and their bins shipped back and forth, but also to get all of their impact data. So this is where they're seeing all of their ESG data. They're getting digital assets there, content. They're getting video there. That's where they're learning about the great work that they're doing, and they're using that to share with their consumers, with their shareholders, with their stakeholders. The impact events, we have sold to thousands of companies across the globe. We've had universities, all types of companies who are doing and engaging in volunteer activities to build hygiene kits, backpacks, and we're now getting into food pantry. Any type of experience that we can bring to table where people can get together, have fun, and love their neighbor. The big keynote that I give across the globe is called Love, Serve, Impact. And it very simply, to summarize, it says, if you look at every theological document, it doesn't matter what it is, the Quran, the Bible, the Jewish Talmud, the Hindu Bible, any of them, they all have, there's one verse in there that's the same on all of them. That's how do you deal with your fellow man and woman. And you know what it says? Love your neighbor. And so I give a whole speech on what does love your neighbor mean? What does that look like? Who are the historical figures that loved? We look at Mother Teresa. We look at Gandhi. We look at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We look at these people that stood up for others, that gave a refuge to those that needed refuge, that fed the hungry, that taught. What does love in action look like? And then I actually look at the physiological, actually what happens in your brain when you love somebody, when you make a difference, when you help somebody. You know, you literally have a spot in your brain that starts to glow. It's called the glow. You know what that does for you? You know, you actually get dopamine release inside. It turns you on. And so when you have love in action, you get turned on and you become a better person. Actually, studies show it helps with self-esteem. It helps with confidence. It helps with all manner of what you go through. It helps with mental health. Okay. So when we do these events and we give people opportunities to help others to make a difference, we know that we're helping to turn them on and help them be the best person, the best individual they can. So I think you guys actually did a wonderful event. Who organized that event? Stand up and get a cheer. There we go. You guys built 200 hygiene kits, and they were donated to the Salvation Army and the Peoria Dream Center. Thank you very much. And for anybody, raise your hand if you were involved in that event, if you built hygiene kits. Anybody here? Yes? Thank you. You guys did an incredible job. We very much appreciate that. All right, very quickly, I'm just going to briefly tell you about our nonprofit, the Wash Foundation. Now, one really incredible stat, I think I have it on here. And so we do outcome-based hygiene education. Now, one of the things that we've done is we've gone into places, Kenya, Tanzania, do this in Dominican Republic. And we actually go into schools and we do baseline testing of school attendance and of cases of diarrheal disease. We do that also in local clinics. Okay, then we start providing soap. We start providing education. We also provide a sustainable method so that soap can be manufactured, created, and sold locally. So we're not continuing to bring soap in on a long-term basis. Okay, and then what we do is we measure the results at the 90-day mark, the 180-day mark, the 6-month mark. Okay, this is on average, across the board, on average, 55%, 56% reduction in hygiene-related illnesses. Literally, people are not getting sick. Literally, mothers are not having to bury their children because they got diarrheal disease. And you know what else we see? A 45% increase in school attendance. Kids are being educated because they're not sick and they're not staying home. They're actually able to stay and get an education. These are the results that we see in the data that we've been able to see. Now, the most incredible stat, here's some work that we're doing in the Dominican Republic, our Wash in Schools program. We are teaching hundreds of teachers there. We are thousands of students. And you can see we're actually building, not just doing education, but we're actually building washing stations. Soap and water go together as well. So we're bringing fresh water in. Okay. This is an awesome program. And we're just getting ready to finalize a grant that's going to focus on, in Uganda, menstrual health. And so we're actually creating a training center where we're going to be training 200 women who are going to learn, number one, the importance of menstrual health and what are the negative impacts that happen in a community. So many times when a young girl starts her cycle, she drops out of school. So she doesn't get educated because there's a stigma related to that. She doesn't have the necessary hygiene products that she needs in order to deal with that. And then oftentimes she gets married young. So she didn't get the education, gets married young because that's what her life. So what we're going to do, okay, is we're training these 200 women on the importance of menstrual health. And then we're teaching them how to manufacture their own feminine hygiene pads. And then they will sell that in the community and have their own business and make their own income, teaching young women and young boys the importance of menstrual health and encouraging these young girls to stay in school, not necessarily have to marry early, and be able to have a more fruitful, life that's not predicated on because they started their cycle and they didn't have a pad. It's really cool work. And the women that we have already met and that we have dealt with and interacted, it's just amazing what work we're doing. So we're hoping to get that grant finalized here, and we're going to draw that out. Before I go to mobile hygiene unit, there's a stat. It may not have come up, and it may come up here in a second, but it's the most important stat we've got. Okay, since the time that we launched in that single car garage, the death rate to children under the age of 5 dying to hygiene-related illnesses has come down by more than 60%. 60%. 86 million free bars of soap that we've handed out to children, families, mothers, 127 countries. The work that we did was so impactful that the United Nations added the WASH Foundation to the United Nations Global WASH Cluster. Literally the nonprofit that myself and my cousin Noel and my uncle Oscar and my family members in that garage scraping soap, that nonprofit now sits on the United Nations, driving global strategies of water, sanitation, and hygiene. That should be worth a round of applause. Right? And mostly you should know that myself, my cousin Noel, my uncle Oscar, we're kind of knuckleheads, okay? I'm looking at a room full of smarter, brighter, more well-equipped, if that's even appropriate grammar, okay? That's what if I can do this, you can change the world. You can absolutely make the difference on the earth that is necessary in order for us to live in a better, brighter. And I mean that. And that is just if there's any punchline to this entire thing that you can get and understand, someone standing in front of you that today, at your age, you are more equipped. You are better positioned. You don't have to do it overnight. Didn't take this overnight. It took a lot of mistakes to get there. But you are capable of doing that. You are more capable than the person that's standing here. So I can't wait to see what you do over the next 20, 30, 40 years. It will be amazing. Okay? All right. Now we give showers to the homeless as well. We have these 43-foot trailers. We have these beautifully designed showers inside of them. They are made with love and dignity. They have vanities and mirror, and it's real porcelain. And it's a hot shower, and it's got air conditioning. It's got a sunlight in it. It's got tile floor. It's just a really beautiful shower. And we go to those experiencing homelessness, and we help them get a 20-minute shower. And we have seen time and time again that somebody comes in there. Now, not only do they get a shower, but we put wraparound services around this unit. So if they want to get help with getting an ID straight, if they want to go into temporary housing, if they want to try and get a job, if they want to go into drug rehab, if they need to just sort of connect to take that next step for whatever reasons to get on the continuum from homeless to home, we put those services around them. And the power of a shower that we've seen has been amazing. How many times do you get done with your day and you just had a long, hard day and you just love to get in the shower and just let it all go, right? Or how many times you wake up in the morning and you got a big day ahead, got a big test, got a big interview, got something big, and you get that shower and you just get pumped up and get fired up. There is an effect that happens, and we've seen it over and over and over again. So much so that homelessness has decreased in Las Vegas by 15%, and the commissioners there think it was us. And we have all the data to prove that it was us because we use their HMIS system, their government system, which shows people who start on the continuum from homeless to homed. And did you know that the large majority, like 90% of the people that actually got from homeless to homed, took at least one shower, and a majority of them took multiple showers with us? It was whatever happened the day they came out of the shower and said, I don't want to just do this once a week. I want to do this every day. I want to try and just get, you would be surprised how many people take showers that have law degrees, that have master's degrees, that were professionals, that just had something happen in life. Maybe they went through a divorce. Maybe they went through just something bad happened. And all of a sudden they got stuck in that rut and they just need that something, that one help, that boost, that one day. And we end up being that boost. And it's amazing. It's incredible. Again, a couple Puerto Ricans in a garage is what did it happen. Here's some other data. All right, I'm getting to the end here. You can see all the other stuff we've given out, showers, hygiene kits, ADA services. We also do this after natural disasters. I think there was an image back there after Hurricane Ian last year. We beat the Red Cross to the Hertz Arena. We were there a day before them. And people their homes were all destroyed in Fort Myers. They were living in an arena, the Hertz rental car arena. They had been there a week without a shower, and we pulled up, and there was just streams of people coming out in wheelchairs because we have an ADA stall. And it was the first shower they took in a week. And others came, and they just think you've lost everything. Your home is gone. You're living in an arena, and you finally get a shower. And the amount of emotion, I get a little emotional thinking about it, the amount of people that were so grateful, that were crying, just lost everything just because that shower. Just incredible. All right, that's us. That's Clean the World and CTW Events and Wash Foundation. Happy to take any questions that you may have. And I very much appreciate this award. This is very meaningful to me. This will sit on my bookshelf that has the awards that I've been given, and I credit it to all of those team members and all those people that every single day come in at Clean the World and show up at the events here and build hygiene kits that just want to make the world a better place. And it's about that collective that makes all that happen. So while my name's on that, this is about all those, all my team members, everyone that's been working with us that does such an incredible, amazing job every single day to make those happen. So thank you very much. Yes. Yeah.
My question is, what products do you make after you recycle plastic?
After we recycle?
Plastic.
Plastic. Yeah. Good questions. We're working on that. We're still in R&D for the circular product. What we're trying to do right now is get the plastic into as high quality of a plastic as possible in order to make as high quality a product as possible. So in the US, we've been able to get it to a flake, which has been so-so, construction materials, perhaps, playground, stuff like that. But in Europe, we've been able to make it into a very high-grade plastic pellet. And that pellet, right now, we're in talks with a bottle manufacturer who actually puts all the shampoo and the body wash and all that in that plastic bottle that goes to the hotel. So we're working on, can we take the plastic, put it back into those bottles, remake those bottles that we put the shampoo and the body wash and all that and sell back to the hotel. For us, there's more value in creating a product that we can sell back to the hotel. So this is the way I think about it. You think about a social entrepreneur. It's not just what product can I make, it's what product can I make that has the most amount of value to it. So if I can make a product out of plastic from hotels and sell that product back to hotels, and they can tell all their hotel guests about it, will they pay a premium for that? Is that more valuable to them? And the answer is yes, because they're going to get more marketing and more PR out of it. And so one of the things that we always think about, and when I was with a group of students before, is, as a social entrepreneur, you think about impact, and you come in every day thinking about impact. You equally have to think about the money side of it. The money matters. It matters to drive revenue. It matters to drive smart revenue. It matters to have good return on investment. It matters to your social investors. It matters to your banks. And if you do that, there's more, and you think that way, along with the impact, the more money you make, the more impact you drive. The more impact you drive, the more money you can make, the better people you can hire, and it goes like a snowball. Yes, Silas. This is a future president of Bradley University, by the way.
Funny. What location has made the most success in your Clean the World operation?
Well, that is a very great question, as a matter of fact. Well, so number one, Orlando manufactures the most amount of soap, okay? And if you want to watch anything after this, watch Dirty Jobs on Clean the World, okay? And you're going to learn that I'm a B actor in that one, okay? I'm a supporting actor in that one. The real star of the show is Carlos Anderson, who is the soap whisperer. He works in our facility. And what happens when you mix a bunch of different soap up is some of it is dry, some of it has more moisture, some of it's made with this ingredient, some of it is that ingredient. And so what the soap whisperer has to do is when the soap is coming through the machines, he has to feel it. And sometimes he'll just close his eyes and he'll feel it. And he'll go, does it need more moisture? Does it need to be cooler? Do I need it hotter? What do I need to do? So he whispers with the soap. His interaction, Carlos Anderson, who's been with our organization for 14 years, who came in a jobs program, I think making $8 an hour, who has successfully today bought a home. He's a single father of 4, raised his entire kids on his own. Him and Mike Rowe and their relationship on that show was phenomenal. So I'm just telling you, that's Carlos, who may be watching today, the soap whisperer, the GOAT. That's probably been the most successful. The others have learned from him, but you really should go watch him and Mike Rowe because the banter that they have and them going back and forth with each other is truly, truly priceless. I was in at the beginning and I was in at the end, but it was Carlos's show with Mike Rowe. It was pretty cool. Great question. Yes. Next question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask on how do you identify where the soap needs to go?
That's a great question. So when we launched the organization, we did some local distribution. Our first international distribution was to Haiti, July of 2009. Actually, we went to Cape Haitian, Haiti. It was really an inspirational, it was really a meaningful, purposeful moment for me. We drove 2,000 bars of soap that we made in a garage in a DC-3, 1940s built twin propeller airplane over the Bermuda Triangle with a couple of wise guy pilots who were making me think that we were going down in the Bermuda Triangle. We landed in Haiti. Haiti is a country that is a stone's throw away from Central Florida. It is a quicker flight for me to fly from Orlando to Haiti than it is for me to fly to DC. 70% unemployment rate. It just was this immense sight, sound, smell, visual. My heart broke for the children who grow up in the brush, who go to school in the brush, who just want to have happy children lives, have the same faces, the same smiles, the same beautiful eyes as our children do. Your heart breaks going, they're going to grow up in a place where on average they make $2 a day. And if they want to buy a bar of soap, it costs 50 cents. Same 50 cents it costs here, it costs there. And the moms are making decisions on feeding their kids or buying soap. And so that's why they don't. And so remember we went to this church and we came in from the back of the church. I didn't know how big it was. We came out, we had the 2,000 bars of soap. There were 10,000 people in the church. And the pastor had mothers coming up one by one. And one mother would come up and say, I buried one child. And the next one come up and say, I buried 2 children. The next one said, I buried 1 child. All the same thing. They ate, their stomach started hurting, they started getting knots, they started having diarrhea, they died. And you're just insanely going, it's just soap. That's all they need. That was the first trip that just clearly got it from here to here for me. Just like this is the injustice. This isn't right, So by the way, shortly after that, we did our first CBS Evening News piece. They went to Haiti and they documented us in Haiti. And in that very first year, I went nearly broke. The Orlando Sentinel wrote an article called Clean the World's Rocky Path to Success. And it's about how at the time I was running a tech company, I was an executive tech company, I had a lot of money, had a lot of resources. I went through it all. Lost a home, my wife's car got repoed, lights got cut in the house, went through all these financial struggles, okay? And that happened basically all the way up until the Haiti earthquake, which was January 12, 2010. And right after that Haiti earthquake happened, I went down to Haiti with a bunch of soap, and CBS Evening News called again. And they said, we want to do a piece on you. Where are you? I said, I'm in Haiti. So Dr. Lepouk comes, and I'm handing soap out in a tent city, 60,000 Haitians and I got a line of Haitians behind me. I think you saw a piece of it in that little sizzle reel. And I'm handing out soap, and he calls me the Pied Piper of soap. I go, yeah, I guess I'm the Pied Piper of soap. And after that, the hotel started ringing, the phone started ringing off the hook, and Clean the World went from basically on the verge and on the edge of failure to absolutely taking off. And it was a moment where a tragic thing that happened was actually that ended up being one of the moments that shot us out. Since that moment, we worked with a lot of NGO partners like World Vision, Children International, Samaritan's Purse. We give to them, and then they go into their programs and their distributions, and they're doing hygiene education in the majority of those countries. Probably about 7-8 years ago, we started doing our own on-the-ground programming. And so that consists today of the work that you saw us doing in Uganda, in Kenya, in Tanzania, and then in the Dominican Republic. And so we do some work with water conservation on the ground with our employees in the Philippines and in Macau. But so it's a combination of collaboration with other global NGOs that desperately want soap and need soap to put into their programs. And then us going in and also validating and proving our cases and doing our wash in schools, our soap in schools and clinics, and doing the menstrual health and all that. So yeah, it's a combination. Good question. Yes.
Hi, so I know you said you started out of a garage. I want to know how you navigated like marketing yourself to those first couple like hotels to actually have them send you their stuff.
Well, that's a great question. And so interestingly, I have a sales and marketing background. So it was easier for me to go articulate and sell to somebody, right? So I remember coming back from a business trip very early on in 2009. I was still at the tech company. And at the time, the sales executives that worked for me that all probably made about $250,000 a year, I would make them on road trips run into hotel rooms that housekeepers were cleaning and grab dirty and used soap. So just imagine they're in their suit. We're about to go, sell a multi-million-dollar deal, and I'm making them run in and grab some dirty, hairy soap that they would bring out that I would go cook in my kitchen. They weren't big fans of me, so I'd help them close deals, and they'd make commission money. They'd be okay with it. But so I remember coming home from a business trip once and just going to a hotel there at Orlando International Airport at the, it was Peter Favier was the general manager. It was the Holiday Inn right on the corner of Cimarron, right outside the Orlando Airport. And I said, I want to take your used soap and plastic. I'm going to recycle it and send people around the world. What do you think? And he said, yes. Now, at the time, I didn't have a business model. I thought we were going to be a nonprofit and we were going to get a bunch of donations. So I didn't charge them anything. So imagine somebody walking up and saying, I'm going to take your plastic and repurpose it or recycle it. I'm going to take your soap and recycle it, and I'm not going to charge you anything. What would you say? Yeah, of course, right? So we did that. And I thought we were going to get a bunch of grants and donors, and that was our business model, okay? I'm telling you, you're a lot smarter and brighter than I am, okay? And my entire premise, my everything was built on that the Gates Foundation at that time was tackling diarrheal disease. And the CEO of the company that I was at, the tech company, name is Rob White. He was the original general manager of Windows NT 3.0. So he actually was reviewed by Bill Gates. So we were a Microsoft type company. So I had Microsoft in my blood. And I just knew that Bill and Melinda Gates. So we filled out an 18-page grant application. Okay. I spent $10,000 with lawyers to make sure this grant application was perfect. It took us 6 weeks. We made sure that every single T was crossed and I was dotted, and it was a perfect, beautiful grant application. And we would sit there in the garage scraping soap going, Bill Gates is going to come walking up this garage. He's going to come right up this driveway and give us a check for $1 billion. You know how great that's going to, like that. We believed it. That was our business model. So we got done with the grant application. We submitted the grant application, and within 8 hours, I got a rejection notice, and it said, please do not reapply for 3 years. Yep. And that was one of several moments that I was on the floor in the fetal position crying, going, what have I done? At this point, I was out of the tech company. I was losing everything. I thought this was my plan. And the greatest hope that I had was just, it must have been we erred in some sort of field. I mean, there's no way they read this 18-page grant application. So I cried, and then I got up, And I said, this is stupid. Because I go to Office Max and Staples, and if I want to buy printer paper that's made out of recycled material, I have to pay more money for it. And if I want to go buy something at the store that's made out of recycled, if I want to go to Whole Foods and buy something, I pay more of a premium. Why wouldn't hotels pay for this? And so that was the time that I said, I'm putting value in this and I'm selling this to hotels. And dang it, we're going to figure out how to get them to buy it. So I put this whole package together and this whole program together. And I went back to that hotel. I went back to the IG. I had a bunch of hotels now that were all running it for free. And I went back to that hotel and I said, hey, we've been recycling your soap and sending it to people around the world. Here's some images from Haiti. Now I need to charge you for it. You're going to start paying for it. What do you think they said? They said no. I was okay. So then I had to go to other hotels. And what ended up happening, and I'm telling you, if you're doing something entrepreneurially that has impact, you're trying to make the world a better place, I promise you that something is going to break your way at some point. If your heart is pure and if your intentions are pure and you're really trying to help others, you can call it a deity, you can call it the stars, you can call it karma, call it whatever you want, okay? And at the time that we're going to hotels, I'm going to the Peabody Hotel. Anybody ever heard of the Peabody Hotel? Okay. So the Peabody Hotel has duck soap. The Peabody Hotel has duck soap because at every Peabody Hotel, there is a family of ducks that lives there. And these ducks don't just live at the Peabody. They live in a penthouse suite at the Peabody. And 2 times a day, the ducks come out of their penthouse suite and they take an elevator down with security and a grand duck master guy. And he walks them down this red carpet to the fountain, and it's a big to-do, and everybody watches, and they go in there and they start bathing and they do cute little duck things in a fountain. And so I am desperately trying to get my company to make it. I am dying. I have lost a home. My wife's car has been repossessed. I cannot pay my bills. My German father is giving me money going, I told you not to do this. This is the life I'm in, and I'm coming to the Peabody, and twice a day, I'm seeing these little ducks come walking out of their penthouse suite and go walking into this, and then they're all wiggling and looking all cute, and I'm like, oh man, these ducks, man, these ducks. So while I'm trying to sell to the Peabody, CBS Evening News calls the first time and says, we just saw a piece that was done on you from a local Fox. This is Katie Couric doing CBS Evening News. We want to do a piece on you in Haiti. They said, can we come down to your facility? I'm in a garage still. I said, yeah, come down to my facility. No worries. We'll get the facility all wrapped up for you. It'll be good. You'll have a great visit down here. No problem. You'll love it. The manufacturing line will be good to go. And they said, well, here's the deal. We need to be in a hotel. What can we do a hotel? And start there and watch the soap go from the hotel. And I said, absolutely. And I called up the Peabody and I said, here's the deal. I'll put you on CBS Evening News. You'll be the hotel on CBS Evening News, but you got to buy this program and you got to scream from the mountaintops that this is the best program you've ever bought within the realm of sustainability and impact. And they said, yes. And they paid 40 cents per room per month. And I remember I still have a copy of it, the $357 check. And I got the check, in the top left corner were the ducks. And I just started crying again. And then I felt bad for the ducks because at some point when I was seeing the ducks, I was like, I'm going to need to eat one of these ducks because I can't eat right now. I'm just playing. I would never eat the Peabody ducks on the live stream, okay? And that was the first check I got. And once I got that first check, I knew that we could get them all. And today, 10,000 hotels, and I got a brand standard, I got 2 big brand standards implementing. We just got a contract signed with MGM. So we now have every property in the Vegas Strip. We have Caesars, Wynn Encore, Venetian Palazzo, and now we have all the MGM properties, which means that what happens in Vegas doesn't necessarily stay in Vegas anymore because your soap gets recycled and sent to people around the world. Okay. That was a marketing thing they had once. Anyway. All right. Any other questions? Okay, good.
So here.
Yes.
So you are using different used soaps, right?
Correct. That's right.
So different soaps have different chemicals in it.
Yes.
So ultimately you manufacture one soap using different chemicals. How it is not impacting the skin?
Well, that's a good question. So you're right that it has different, and what was interesting is there were certain ingredients that we could not use to go into certain countries. And so we learned when we were sending soap, for instance, into Africa, that there were certain ingredients that were good, certain ingredients that were not good. There are certain scents that were good and that were not good. So we have, throughout time, we've had to target sort of where we get soap and what ingredients it may have. Also in Europe, whenever we take soap around, we have to actually list the ingredients. So we've had to go back to the manufacturers to get their ingredients. There are some more segregation of soap that we have to do, especially in Europe and in Asia, to keep like soap together. There's less of that going on in the United States. Most of that soap's going into Latin America. We haven't had those issues, so we amalgamate, we mix it all together, mostly in the US, but we do a little more sorting in Europe and in Asia because we've got to be conscious of the ingredients and making sure that we've got glycerin soaps together and those that have aloes or cocoa or whatever it is, we've got to keep them together. So we've learned some of that, and some of that was, we learned by putting a bunch of soap in, sending it to a country, and then having them in customs stop, say it's not coming in. Why? Because you don't have ingredients, because certain ingredients are not going to be allowed in this country. And those were some of the ways that we learned some of those things. And we said, got it. So now we got to go back and we've got to backtrack and figure this out. So a lot of trial and error to figure some of that stuff out. It's a good question. Good technical question. All right.
Excellent. I think you can see what I mean by the energy, the dedication, that desire to give forward. So please join me in saying thank you to Shawn for spending his time with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
And in addition to that, I always like to say the big thank you of really who puts all this together. And so I want to ask you one more time to please put your hands together, because Dr. Marcos Hashimoto is really the whole drive behind this, and he makes all this happen. So please, thank you, Dr. Hashimoto. And our students. So I think Shawn has a few more minutes if you have a question. But again, I want to say thank you. It's beautiful to see the room filled. I thank again the professors who encourage their students to come. And wash your hands, bro.
That's right. Thank you.